Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the RE Source. I'm RC. Typically, I'm behind the camera, behind the computers, making good things happen here at the RE Source. Today, Ryan Hills, the man, the myth, legend, he's in Cabo celebrating the the Northwest pandemic of the coronavirus. Just ran out of town, trying to get away from it. No, I'm joking. He's down there with some of our elite performers. And today I have the joy of having Megan Anderson on the call with us today. What's up, Megan?
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because today I get to take over the show, and I was like, you know what? It's about time we bring some marketing content on the show. I love the thought leadership. I love the humor. I love, the interview with Barry and the Masterclass series. But I think something that we really haven't had a chance to talk is kind of the nitty gritty on how to capitalize on this refi boom. And so I got Megan on the show today. If you guys didn't watch last week's show, we did release it as a podcast as well. I definitely would check that out. Barry Habib with MBS Highway did a phenomenal job breaking down what's coming in the near future. We called it what's going on? What's going on with this crazy market. So if you guys need a little security and understanding what's happening and how to protect both your personal interest and your customers' interest, I highly recommend taking a peek at it. But now we're pivoting. We're saying, okay, if that market is going to have low rates and even a little bit lower now for the foreseeable future, how do we as an industry take advantage and really serve our customers to the best of our abilities? So the question is kind of, Megan, if you were a loan officer, what would you be doing right now as a loan officer to maximize this opportunity? And in the bigger picture, guys, no surprise, we actually have the ultimate refinance campaign built out for you. And we're going to jump into the sections of this to kind of pull back the curtain, so to speak, and show you what a successful campaign would look like. The reality is this is probably going to be a little bit overwhelming. This is our world, so we're not asking you to do all of this. Now, it doesn't matter if you're an individual. It doesn't matter if you're like a team lead, a regional, or a C-suite leader in the mortgage industry, or if you're on the realtor side of things. We all know inventory is really tight these days. This campaign, too, adding value back to your customers, can be a great way to source listings and other inventory for you to get on the market. So, Megan, I'll let you run the show here. Wherever you'd like to stop, I'll pick up, and we'll jump into this and get going.
So first, I want to say you definitely need to go back and watch last week's episode. If you don't know what's happening in the market and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, what's happening? Barry will explain all of it. He's made some really amazing calls in the market. And, people talk about target audiences all the time. And in my mind, we have about 3 different types of target audiences.
Yep.
We have the people that we enjoy working with. We have our area of expertise. And then we have what the market is giving us. And when I talk about target audience, that's the type of content that we want to be creating to target those individuals and ultimately get more business from utilizing social media. And right now, one of our target audiences really needs to be the refinance people. Rates are going to get lower. It's going to be hot for a while. And if you are not creating content to focus on that, you need to start right now. And the most basic thing, I know we're going to go in depth here, but the most basic thing that I want you to walk away with is you need to be out there talking about it. And you need to be letting people know, because people don't know what they don't know. And if they're not in this world, then they might not know that they can save money each and every month through refinancing. So let's start talking about it. And one of the best ways to talk about it is through value content. You need to be painting the picture for this individual, letting them know what is possible through refinancing. People have so much equity built up in their homes now that they could save so much money by refinancing, maybe taking some equity out, paying down their debt.
Yep.
And you should be going through these examples and client testimonials to educate the client on what's happening.
Yeah, we call that, basically story selling, right? You're taking someone else's story, tying in with your offer and the benefit, and you're telling that story and building that brand that says, I help people save money, I help people build wealth, I help people manage debt better, right? Couldn't agree with you more on who we have to focus on and truly serve, right? And as Bill Hart, our good friend, would say, you got to lean in. Time to lean in. Yeah. So the hours, we're here after hours right now. Megan's consulting, speaking, traveling, anything you can do with the industry, she's crushing it. In fact, just now squeezing in this call. So we appreciate your time. I think something I really admire about you and your hustle and grind is your story content. It's on point. Can you kind of tell us? I know a lot of people really seek you out, and you've done a great job building a really quick and long-standing brand with story content. Tell us all. Let's do this.
Yeah. So stories, for those that don't know, and I'm actually surprised at how many people that do not know what stories are or have never used them in this space. Stories are what you see at the top of the page when you log into Facebook or you log into Instagram. They're the little circles that light up and you can click it. And it's kind of like a behind the scenes look into that individual person's day. And people love stories. They are actually viewing stories more than they are scrolling through the news feed now. And I think a big part of that is because it feels authentic and it feels like you're getting an inside look of that person's life. So if we were going to talk about, refinancing, what we might want to do in our stories is create a little video talking about that client experience, talking about that client testimonial. And ultimately, one thing that I think you could really do on your stories is kind of give a market analysis for the day. Give a little market analysis, talk about where rates are headed, the opportunities that exist. And one thing that I really love to utilize in stories is those polls or those questions. And I know one thing that we want to talk about is by utilizing an engagement post, and that's great for Facebook. Instagram, not so much. And we'll dive into, for example, an engagement post. And here's kind of the tactic behind this. An engagement post that maybe I would utilize right now is, what's your current rate on your mortgage and when was the last time you refinanced or have you refinanced? And people love to talk about themselves. So you'll start getting a lot of comments on that, which is great.
You could even do is now the perfect time to refinance or would you wait? Right? Really have
this is in a post. I would do this in a post. I would utilize that in a story. And especially on Instagram, because Instagram, you can't really do a post like that. It just doesn't turn out the same way. Yep. But utilizing the same engagement type tactic in your stories is, just what you said. Is now a really hot time to refinance? Yes or no? See what people say. And all those people that say no, reach out to them, see what their rate is, and if you could help them. And then create follow-up content that supports the idea that now is a really great time to refinance. And actually, I'm at this event here in California, and an important thing was brought up today. They said, and we've all heard this, don't focus on rate, don't sell rate, don't focus on rate. And it brought up this really interesting thing that I kind of want to discuss with you, because while it's important that we don't sell rate, at the same time, I think it's important that we talk about it, but it's not enough just to get on there and say rates are this much. You need to create that value so that they know, oh, this is what that means for me. I can save hundreds to thousands on my monthly payment. I had no idea. So it's not about simply talking about rate. Because one thing is that if we constantly talk about rate and that's all we focus on, that client's just going to expect us for that. And they're going to expect more in that realm. So we got to provide value on why people want to refinance. And again, they just don't know what they don't know. So let's let them know what they don't know.
Right. And that actually kind of, to segue in, really kind of talks about illustrating the cost benefit, right? And what does that mean in someone's life? So I've seen you do this, obviously MBS Highway tools to do this type of a illustration. Can you tell us a little bit about
great tool for that?
You happen to know a little bit about that, right?
It's the debt consolidation tool, and it is so powerful. You go in there and you just click on this person's debt, and it will show you how much money you can save them. And inventory is low right now too. So a lot of the times we have these people that maybe they're having another child or whatever the case may be, and they want to move in a bigger home, but there's just not that on the market right now. So then they're thinking about, maybe I should remodel this. Well, in that tool, you can go ahead, you can pull out that cash out and really show them what that would look like and the opportunity that refinancing creates for them to ultimately make their home their home.
And honestly, build wealth in the long run, right?
Yes.
On our show last week, another shameless plug, Barry did mention, like, you know, once you have a pre-qualification, you want to honor where someone's at, but you may want to push them to get, if they're going to buy a house and they do find the inventory, you may want to push them just a little bit, because the reality is they're going to ride the appreciation on a strong housing market up and then have the chance again to refinance in the very near future. And I don't think there's anything that we're saying right now that is contradictory to that. In fact, everything that we're pointing out right now goes hand in hand with Barry's predictions and really how to benefit from that now and in the future. You have a fiduciary responsibility to your customers to really serve them. So if you are a lifetime lender, how about we communicate that way, let people know in this fashion what's going on right now in the market, talk about, illustrate the cost benefit, and these are the ways that we're going to do it. So I love where we're going with this too. Now, in the benefit of keeping this a fairly short show, we don't want to, I mean, we could talk about these things for hours. Literally, we get paid to travel and speak about this stuff, right? So I'm sure you guys are going to have questions. We're going to tell you, if you do have questions, don't forget, post them down below. Megan and I will jump in as much as we can. And then, Mickey, can you throw on the screen the different overlays for MBS Highway and the illustration? So that's what we're going to do. Make sure you guys see what we're talking about here. Do you mind if I kind of jump into a few things?
Yeah, no, do it. We've talked about posts. We've talked about stories. Now let's talk about everything else.
Right. All right. So video, we're doing video right now. A lot of people, you know, they might put in their head, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. I need lights, I need cameras, I need microphones. The reality is, for story content, like, this is really, really not essential. We are literally just behind the scenes, guys, in full transparency. Megan, what are you shooting with right now?
I'm shooting with an iPhone.
Right, and it looks great. So don't stop yourself from executing, because this looks great on an iPhone. So guys, we're here, we're doing this, we're creating video content on devices. So do not limit yourself and think that you don't have what it takes to get started. It's just excuses. We got to execute. Execution over perfection. So we're going to talk about a video ad, and possibly even to a custom audience. I do think that a lot of people, when they're making a video and they're talking about or illustrating the cost benefit and telling a story, right? If they're creating a video ad and using it to target on either Facebook or Instagram, and they're targeting audiences, and we can talk about audiences if you'd like. I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. But if you have a database of past customers, you can upload it to Facebook as what's called a custom audience. And Facebook will say, hey, good, I see all your phone numbers and emails and first names and last names. Looks like 90% of those people are inside of Facebook or Instagram and have accounts. You can target those people. They don't have to like you personally, like, not like you, you know, they already like you, but like your page or your they don't have to follow you, right? You can target this video ad talking about the opportunity to refinance, educate them on that. And then if you don't have what's called the landing page, which is something else we can talk about, if you're not super techie or your marketing suite doesn't give you that, in your video ad, we'll put this up on the screen, you can just have a send message button, right? So when you click on send message, it opens up Messenger and you can communicate with somebody. I hear all the time, I'm sure you can relate with this too, Megan, like professionals in our industry, they say, if you could just get someone in front of me on my desk, there's no way that they leave me, right? They'll always say yes to my value proposition. And I'm always like, dude, why are you trying to get people into your desk? Why aren't you getting in front of their desk? Right? This is a great strategy to make sure you meet people where they're at. You're not asking them to come where you are, right? And here's another thing, just a little pet peeve of mine, if I'm being honest. Let's not just target within like a proximity necessarily of where we're at. Let's perhaps target the whole region that we're licensed in. There's a lot more people that you're licensed to help. So, you know, thinking a little bit bigger there, I think that's a really wise tactic. On that, if you don't do the send message, or if you're not going to do a video ad for like a Facebook lead capture app, which is another type of ad that allows you to basically not ask people to put in their information. Facebook already populates their information, and then they hit submit, and you actually generate a lead that way. So we can get super geeky. We were talking about this before we turned the cameras on and recorded. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in that arena. We just want you guys to be aware of those things. Facebook lead ads, send message buttons for conversions, and also custom audiences is a really good way to spend some time if you're going to create a video ad inside of Facebook. You like that? That's pretty good stuff right there.
I love it. Custom audiences are great.
They really are. In fact, you can do custom audiences off of people that view your videos. So like if you're watching this video and you watched it this far, we're probably going to give you guys an ad that says you should sign up for the show, right? And that's going to be a Facebook lead ad coming back to build our audience and ask you to share our show because we're adding value into your life. I'm pulling back all the curtains here. There's no secrets kept. This is how business is done, right now in the year 2020. A landing page, do you want to tackle this on like what a landing page is, or do you want me to? How do you want to handle that?
Yeah, I can cover it. A landing page is essentially, this is where you're going to grab their attention. So they click it, it sends them to a landing page. And I love to set these up in the same kind of structure as a video. So you hook them in, whatever the title is, you kind of want to hook them in so that they want to keep scrolling through the page where you're providing value. So you're providing that value, and then they ultimately, reach out to you. They give you their information, et cetera, et cetera. But you ultimately want to have that hook. You want to provide that value, and you want to have the call to action. Same structure as your video that you want to have on this landing page.
Love it. That actually really helps for conversion rates as well. When you click on something and you go to another page to learn more about that same topic, it really increases the chances of you converting a lead on that landing page. So landing pages are just one-page websites designed to convert someone from a visitor to a lead.
Yeah.
And I guess if someone's going to sign up for that, it'd be really wise to put them on an email drip campaign, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Let's talk about educating and adding value. Some people fingernails on a chalkboard when they hear a drip campaign. Oh, those don't work. And so, on my end, I've helped a lot of people make video content and put like the thumbnails inside of the email campaigns. So you can actually add value and really educate people on where you can help and serve them and kind of open up Pandora's box on their curiosity of what's the possibility in their family's life, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have any more to add to that? I don't feel like we need to beat a dead horse with email campaigns.
We don't need to beat a dead horse of email campaigns. Just simply remember that people don't convert when they see your content once. We have to have multiple touch points, and being able to touch them outside of social media, it's just a great way to do that. Whether you're doing it through texting campaigns or email campaigns, again, it's just a way to provide value and touch them, because sometimes you got to touch them a few times before they convert.
Absolutely. And I love what you said about text. I think you and I are on the same thought process. When we say an email campaign, this could as easily be a text campaign, an automation or a follow-up to allow people to respond to you in a personalized fashion. I think that goes kind of hand in hand, going into like more of a mobile thing. No pun intended, hand in hand. Horrible dad jokes. Here we go. Automated voicemails. I mean, I'm a firm believer in respecting this. We've all received like automated voicemails before, and you can very easily, if you're sending an automated voicemail out to your past customers, like you search in your database and anybody above X rate, you should receive a voicemail from me saying it's a good time to refi, right? If that's what you're trying to achieve. And we talked about this, like marketing's a lot like dating, right? You don't want to come off needy or salesy or gross. So if you're going to do something like this, I personally am a firm believer that you should address it right away. Hey, I never really thought I'd be the one to send an automated voicemail, but times are just crazy right now, and I wanted to make sure that right now is a really good time to consider a refinance. Just send me a quick screenshot of your mortgage statement, text it to me, and I'd be happy to respond yes or no if now is a good time or not. And again, I'd be happy to do that. Apologize for not being able to spend a quick moment to give you a call. But again, a script you can work in, adjust to your, style of selling. But I think you address it. Are you kind of with me on that? Otherwise, you get put in the sleazy salesman role real quick.
I agree with it on that. When I get an automated voicemail, it kind of turns me the wrong way. But at the same time, I think if I got one where it was like, hey, I never do this. As you guys know, this is the first one. The market's been wild, and I don't want you to miss an ability to save a lot of money. And, you know, like you said, send me your picture of your information and we'll go from there if you're interested. But
right, kind of no harm, no foul. I don't do not overuse this. All this other stuff is kind of, you're like that's like maybe once a year. Like, I don't know. Like if rates are going to keep on going down, as you guys have been discussing, you know, maybe that's part of our phase 2. And kind of talking about that, the last thing we wanted to jump on is co-marketing partner databases. And, you know, if you're a realtor, right, and a lot of this feels very loan officer centric, right? But if you're a realtor or a real estate broker, whatever your designation is, and you have a past customer database, you want to serve them, there's no reason you couldn't be the face on all of these touches, right? Or if you have a lending partner, bring your lending partner back in, or if you're a lending partner, take the strategy and go add value to your realtor partners and their databases and help them do this to their audiences so that they can pick up the listings and the opportunities. I was literally like an hour away from here today. I did a 2-hour training on some similar stuff, and a guy said, dude, I was literally on the phone, and while I was doing this campaign, this automated voicemail, I was doing a loan application, and I had like phone calls coming in on people that wanted to refi while I was talking to my realtor about doing this exact same thing to her database. And it was funny because they said that the phones were blowing up for both of them, and he picked up 2 listing referrals out of his database to hand back to the realtors who had done the cross transaction with him for them. So I think that alone, guys, you know, it's beneficial it's a win-win-win on every single side of that.
It's a win-win-win. And as far as, you know, the real estate agents that are listening right now too, you know, maybe you're not talking about refinancing, but one thing that you could really be talking about is how low rates are and what that really means for the client through that extended period of time. Because a lot of people might be looking to purchase right now. It's a great time to purchase due to the fact that rates are so low.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's no surprise for our social streams, they're blowing up, you know, and I would just say as a reminder, guys, you know, this can be overwhelming for anyone to tackle. So we were talking before the call, we suggest choosing 1, 2, maybe 3 things, putting a deadline like within the next 7 days, 10 days, grabbing someone in your, you know, office as an accountability partner, or sending an email saying, I'm going to do this and this to my manager or to someone else that you can have accountability to. You do that. Now, with the rates coming down, we have the opportunity to say that's phase 1. Now, phase 2 is going to be X, Y, and Z. I'm going to commit to doing that by then, because execution of this is really what makes all of this worth it. And if you're going to spend the time watching something for this long and go this in depth with it and get ideas for what you need to do, the only difference between watching this and making it worthwhile and watching it and where you should have been working on your database and working on these campaigns is you executing it, right? So
yes, take action now. And it doesn't have to be hard. You know, as far as the value-driven video content, don't overthink it. And if you need help, we have the scripts literally already created in our MBS Highway Social Studio tool. You just have to open up your computer and read a script for a minute. So I don't want to hear any excuses. Start with something, implement it today, or else you're doing yourself a disservice. So stop it and just take action. Preach,
girl, preach. I love it. I'm right there with you. Tell you what, execution. Thank you so much, Megan. You and I have been friends for a very short amount of time, but we are definitely 2 birds. I always get these sayings wrong. 2 birds of a feather flock together. I don't know.
It's 2 birds, 1 stone, but I don't really
2 peas in a pod? I don't even know. I'm so out of this. Anyways, I'm going to stick to marketing, not analogies or adages. We really appreciate you jumping on the call today. If you guys do have questions, throw them in. It doesn't matter where you're seeing this. Throw them in the comment section below. We'll do our best. Tag us if you'd like. But one last thing I would really like to see everybody do is share what's working for them, right? We're all a community. We're really not competing. There's so many of us in such a vast area. Share down below what's working for you. Share your struggles. We want to help you solve your problems and get results, right? We care about your business. We really, really, really want you to see maximizing this opportunity. And so that's why we do what we do, and we're here for you. So thank you for watching. We're going to see you next week. We'll talk to you soon.